this realization and awakening of I can actually do it. It's not impossible. And I put so many women and men as well on the stage because men are welcome in this room. I put so many people on the stage that are living and breathing examples of people that have created massive success. And some of them have done it really quickly. I think about Amy Lacey. She built an 8-figure business in 18 months. Yeah. Guys, you're going to be fully awakened and activated and on this high that's going to last. And it's just going to propel you into the year. I love men. I love them. I love healthy relationships. And I know that the world is craving healthy powerhouse couples, stepping up, stepping forward, building together. And that's why I'm so passionate about it.
Hello and welcome back to the Jessica Papineau Show, Living Aligned, Styled with Purpose. So today we have a very special guest, Brooke Hemingway, and I am just beyond excited to introduce her to all of you who don't know her. I think a lot of people that are in my world do know her, but I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in, Brooke, and share with everyone all the things about you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And, got my Christmas tree here in the background. If you guys are watching on video, we're recording this right around Christmas time. So if you know me, you know I love all things Christmas. So,
well, welcome everyone. So Brooke Hemingway is a powerhouse entrepreneur, a high performance coach, and a mother of 6. From her beginnings as a nurse and fitness professional, Brooke transformed into a 7-figure business strategist, helping thousands of women align their lives and their businesses. She's the founder of Align Event and the Good Life coaching community, as well as the host of Align the Good Life podcast, where she empowers others to pursue success with soul. She lives in the ultimate belief that you can have it all without losing it. Her passion is to help others drop the shame around making a lot of money so that they can give the way they want to give and live the way they want to live. And I just love Brooke so much. She's been in my life, I guess about 1.5 years now, although it feels like Brooke, when I met her, was like my long lost sister. And really, really, Brooke, you really have changed my life in the most powerful way. I know that your gift is really to see women and see people in their highest potential. And one of the things that I just find so beautiful about you is that you have this ability not only to see people in their highest potential, but to actually show them what is possible for themselves. And, you're so darn cute and sweet, but, I do like you're so amazing at challenging people when they say they can't do things.
I tell people I've got a little bit of sass, right? It's like soul with sass. There's a little, I'm a Spitfire too, right?
Yes. And I never would have thought that when I first met you. You were like so sweet. We were at Catherine Gordon's a retreat and you were sitting there all cute and cozy in your little butterfly shirt. And I thought, oh, she's so cute. She's so sweet. And then I saw you. Then I see you at Align and like barreling down the runway, dancing and with not chopsticks, drumsticks. Something. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I just love so much how dynamic you are and how influential you are to others and inspirational. And I love your story and I love how you share your story and what is it? Because we look at you now and it's like Brooke Hemingway and she's on big stages and sharing her message, but it didn't start out that way for you. Yeah. And I'd love to hear your origin story of, how did it all come to be from being a nurse and being in the fitness world to now doing what you're doing now.
I know it's such a shift. And I just want to say to that, you also inspire me as well. I think that what you say I've done for you, other women have done for me. And I think it's one of the reasons why it's so important as women. We allow ourselves and we give ourselves permission to be all of the parts of us. So I can be very sweet. I can be very soft. I can be very spiritual. I can be very deep. I can also be really ridiculous. And larger than life. And, I told my husband, we like rewrote our vows about a week and a half ago. And in my vows, I said, and I vowed to always be your ass shaking, you know, because he loves it when I dance. Like he loves that crazy free, shaking it. And so we get to be all of those parts. And I think that what I've identified, and one of the reasons why maybe you were attracted to me or other women are attracted to me, is because I allow myself to be all of those things. I'm okay not just being one sweet, kind, nice, people pleasing Brooke. Like I allow myself to also be just free and who I am and have fun and go after things and take risks. And so I see that also in you. I see that in so many women. And I just have to give homage to the women, whoever they were before me, that paved the way for me to feel like I could do this, including my mom, who was always a question asker. And my mom, she's like a really incredible, strong woman. And she's got some sass in her. And so I think I learned that from her. But the origin story, gosh, I mean, I would have never pictured ever, ever that I would be doing any of the things that I'm doing. And isn't that true about most of us? Those of you listening, wherever you are in your life, especially if you're a creative entrepreneur or you've gone off and done your own thing or you've broken the mold, you didn't necessarily picture yourself doing that. However, you were probably a curious individual. You probably had big dreams when you were young. You probably, felt like there was something more for you. You didn't know what it was, but you were open and you were curious. And I think that those are some of the characteristics of people that go and do big things is they're open, they're curious, they push the limits. And from the time I was young, I kind of was a limit pusher and really this person that loved super, super big. I've always loved super, super big. My family, anyone that was really close to me, like I would stand up for you. I would fight for you. In fact, in high school, I remember there was a football player that was bullying my brother who was 2 grades younger than me. And we were at a school dance and I punched the guy. Like I was like, listen, you will not mess with my brother. And here I have like 5'1", you guys. I'm 5'1", size 2, maybe a 4, I don't know, 2 on a good day, right? So I'm like, punch this football player. If that gives you any indication, right? Like I've always had some sass, some fire in me, like big love, big heart, but also big pain. And I think that those things often go together. And for me, the pain was in, growing up, not in a terrible circumstance at all. I don't ever want to over dramatize that. But because I had a tender heart and I was so loving, it was really hard to watch the deconstruction of my parents' marriage and to watch my dad, kind of lose his mind, so to speak, lose his grounding, lose his alignment, lose his way, and essentially enter a tunnel in his 40s. That's what I call it. He entered this tunnel and he never made it out of the tunnel. He spent the last 25 to 30 years of his life in a tunnel. The tunnel is where you get stuck in this place of, making a lot of decisions that are destructive to your life and really living in a lot of shame and guilt and feeling like, you can't change your life. There's nothing you can do. You're doomed. And so as a teenager, I really started to understand this. As a 10, 11, 12-year-old, I remember just wishing that, my parents could just get along and that they would just love each other and wanting so much to have stability. But we moved around a lot growing up. So I was always the new girl in school, and we'd be some places for a year and we'd be some places for longer. And so I really never got to feel like there was a place that was home. I really never got to feel like I belonged anywhere, because any of you listening that are women can maybe vouch for the fact that, teenage girls and preteen girls may not be the nicest because they feel competitive, they feel threatened. And so I was always kind of on the outside, feeling like I didn't belong because we were moving. And then at home, there was this disconnection and there were things that were kind of falling apart. My parents divorced when I was 16, and so life goes on. I get married young, and my dad died, in his 60s, quite young. And I just remember feeling like there was a huge sense of regret. His entire, last couple of decades of his life, he lived in regret. And that was a powerful teacher to me because I never wanted to regret. I never wanted to be someone that looked back and said, I wish I had changed. I wish I had done that thing. I didn't want to look back on my life and feel like I was afraid. And so I didn't do the things that I wanted to do. And so there was that sort of like holy fire inside of me to not want to regret. And yet at the same time, I was doing things very traditionally. I got married young, and I've been married to my sweetheart for 27 years, which is a really long time. And we are madly in love, deeply in love. We didn't have kids for 8 years, though, which was a little bit non-traditional, for our faith. Is like people get married, they have kids right away. And we were like, we don't want to do that. That looks miserable. So we waited 8 years, and then we had all of these babies. And in this period of time, I was in fitness and wellness. I was teaching fitness classes and training clients, and I was an ICU nurse. And I woke up one day about 11 years ago, and I was like, I hate this. I do not like being a nurse. Like, I don't. I love helping people. I have that in my heart. That's like my big heart. I love helping people. But this is so out of alignment for me. There is no joy here. I get anxiety when I wake up and I think I have to go to work. And so finally, after a long period of time, I said goodbye to it. And I knew as soon as I quit that job, I was never going back. I was never going back. And I had kind of learned this lesson from watching my dad. This was about 2 years after he passed away. I said, you know what? Life is short. I'm not going to do this anymore. So I walked away from that, and I was focusing on being a mom. I had 5 kids, 9 and under. Crazy. I know. You want to know something funny, Jessica?
Tell me.
When people ask me, oh my gosh, you had so many kids. I'm like, listen, go to Kauai. Okay.
Yeah.
If you live on Kauai, there's really nothing to do except make love and go to the beach. So, it's really easy to have a lot of babies. It's just so free and natural. And you just take your kids to the beach. And anyway, I kind of joke and say that's why we had so many kids, because you go to Kauai and it's just such a luscious, loving place. You just have a lot of babies. So anyways, I had all these babies, and I really wasn't looking for anything, honestly. I was pretty maxed out in my life, and something fell into my lap that was unexpected. It happened to be network marketing. There's actually a lot of really successful, powerful women that got their start in network marketing. I think you know this, like Carter, and so many different women. And that's really where I got my start a little over 10 years ago. And here's the key, though. It's not the vehicle. It's the emotions around what drops into your lap, right? And so when this dropped into my lap, I actually was just really open. I didn't have a lot of judgment. I didn't have a lot of like stories about what it was. I was just like, oh, this is great. I love this product. Oh, I was staying home. I had time. Through the process of building this business, realized I was really great at sales and marketing and persuasion and influence. And I had zero audience. I had 150 Facebook friends. I had no Instagram. I had no social skills to save my life, except I could communicate with people, and I knew how to love people, and I knew how to like see their potential and help them to start believing in themselves. And so I became this master developer of people. It's like I could see that potential in them, and I could just draw it out. And I realized that was one of my superpowers, which now I know you've seen, Jessica.
Yes.
In the mastermind. But I also just really understood like the psychology of sales and marketing, and I loved it. And I was like, wow, what I built from nothing. So I am like the test case. No audience, built a 7-figure business in 2 years. Found that I fell in love with coaching women, went and got a bunch of different certifications and trainings in coaching. And then long story short, about 4 years into doing that, having a very successful business and starting to coach women at that point, I hit my burnout. I hit that point where I had been pushing and pushing and pushing and grinding and hustling. And I realized in that season that there was still a little girl that didn't feel like she was good enough, that didn't feel like her voice mattered, that didn't feel like she was special, that didn't feel like she was ever going to be enough. And I had been pushing and pushing and pushing, thinking that, well, maybe when I get to this next level, or maybe when I make this amount of money, or maybe when I can do this, then it will be good enough. Then I will be special. Then I will matter. And what actually happened at that 4-year mark is I had basically done everything. Like there was no other level I could go to. I was staying on David Copperfield's private island. I was flying in private jets. I was going to Over Yonder Key. I was going on yacht trips. I was doing all of this stuff. And guess what?
You weren't feeling.
I wasn't feeling it inside. I still wasn't feeling like I was good enough. And for a high performer or for a high achiever, when there's not another carrot to chase, you're stuck with yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to go inside. And so that was kind of like the first metamorphosis for me was about 6.5 years ago. And I really had to go into the pit, into that messy space and figure out like what's going on here and what is it that I'm actually feeling and what am I afraid of and what am I creating? Because we all create our circumstances. We create them from the stories we tell ourselves and the beliefs that we have. And so I did that deep work and I came out that side and I'd already have like certifications and all this nice stuff. But I was like, okay, no, now I actually have something to teach women because I've gone through that myself. And that's when I started Align. In 2019 is like my heart was so on fire because I know you experience this too, Jessica. So many of the women I've been coaching and mentoring, they were operating from the same system.
Yes.
Not good enough, don't matter, not special. And so maybe if I achieve or I perform or I get to this certain level, then I'm going to feel like I'm good enough. Then I will have been a good girl. I will have done a good job. And I was just seeing it over and over and over, this lack of self-worth and self-confidence. And so I wanted to start, Align for that purpose and also to teach people that alignment is also about your whole being, right? And so I know you know this, Jessica, but if there are things that are really off in our life and we're trying to be super successful in business, but there's like a huge train wreck in our marriage or in one of our closest personal relationships that we're avoiding, that we're pretending isn't there, that we're just like shoving down and we're not dealing with, there's an energy seep. There's like a poison seep and you will never be as successful if you're not actually like dealing with the things in your life that need attention, that need oxygen. And so I also wanted to speak about that because in that season, I was letting some things go that really mattered. And I wasn't putting any energy and attention into things like my self-care, into my relationship. And I was letting those things fall by the wayside. And as I did that, it was harder and harder and harder to maintain, sustain, and grow my success. So that's where we came to where we are, today with Align. That was kind of long, but
Well, no, it was beautiful. And, now it makes sense to me how when you and I first met and we got on that first call, how you said to me, I see a lot in you that reminds me of me because I was in that season when you and I met a year and a half ago where I was like bumping up against that, like I've achieved and now what? And I don't know how to participate in life in a way that feels in alignment. And that's exactly and this is just a testament to the work that you do with other women and the work that you've done with me and mirroring that to me that, you know what, girl, you got to sit with yourself for a minute and like smell the roses, like enjoy your life. And I was that woman, you're serving with the women that are living in a way that you were living, and you created in your life radical change,
Yeah.
radical change. And you kind of forced me to do the same. And I and I really
I'm still modeling that for you, right?
you're still
Stitch can
modeling.
text me on a Friday and she may not hear from me until Monday. And I get on the text and I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's taken me a few days. And she's like, this is great. You're modeling to me that I can take time for myself and my family over the weekend. But that was not me. Like 7 years ago, oh my gosh, I was so trigger happy on my phone. But, as you were talking, I was thinking it's really that as a high performing woman, when you no longer have something to chase after or run after, you have to turn inwards and run after yourself, chase after yourself. And it's like, that's what happens to the high performer is like the dopamine hit. Like there's really nothing else. I mean, I have 3 homes. I have a home on 3 acres in Hawaii. I have a home at a ski resort. We've got a home we're building on the coast in Florida. Like I really don't need anything else. So when there's nothing else to chase after, you have to run after yourself.
I have created something really special for you, my Power Presence Index. It's a quick quiz designed to help you uncover the 6 elements shaping your unique presence. And trust me, the insights are transformational. In just a few minutes, you'll discover exactly how to align your style with your goals so that you can show up powerfully, speak with confidence, and truly be seen. This is my gift to you because confidence doesn't start in your closet. It starts with clarity. Get your personal Power Presence Index now at csjstyling.com/power and begin your journey to becoming truly unstoppable. Yeah.
And that's what I had to do.
Well,
what you had to do.
That's what I've had to do. And I mean, I've been through it many times in my life, but I will say this time I really sat in it, and there were times, when with the Inner Circle Mastermind, when, you had invited me to, where were we, in Salt Lake? Were we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I wasn't going to go. And you kind of were like, you gave me a little nudge and then you kind of kicked me in the butt. You're like,
I do that.
yeah, when are you going to participate in your life? And it was so stretchy. And how many of you that are listening, because it's a high performing woman that is listening to podcasts, especially podcasts like this one. And how many of you are in that push, have kind of come to that place of, I've performed. Now what? And we don't, I think the biggest thing I learned through you, Brooke, is that I deserve more than just a slice of the pie. Because I think when we're influencing other people's lives and we're transforming their lives because we're pouring into them, we can get that little piece of good feeling. Like I know how many times I've felt that healing through pouring into other people, which, by the way, is what has made you so successful in business and in sales, because you are so service driven, but you also model for others. Like you can have all these different homes. You can give as much as you want to give, and you can live your life in this most abundant way. And I'm just so in awe of you. And I really want to talk a little bit more about Align, because Align, and I just and you kind of described like your why or what led you to it. But I just kind of would love to dive into what makes Align different, because I mean, we've talked about this before. We've both gone to so many events and spoken at so many events, and there's something very special and different. Can you share a little bit about that?
I think it's different fundamentally in that Align was created out of my overflow. Mm-hmm. It was not created as a business strategy. It was not created because I wanted it to be this thing that helped me sell millions of dollars of something from the stage. And so I think just fundamentally, the birth of Align in January 2020 is when I did my first event. So this will be the 7th. Is that right? Am I counting that right? This will be the 7th event for the actual Align, gathering. And it was solely created from that overflow space, from this like awakening that I had, and how much my soul was on fire to share what I had learned with other women, because I have this heart of like, when I figure something out and I learn something, I want to tell other people. And I think it's that little girl part of me that wanted to rescue my dad. Right. I wanted to rescue my dad, and I wanted him to get better, and he just couldn't. He couldn't figure out how to change. And I'm obsessed with like, how do we change? What does it take to actually truly meaningfully change our behaviors, our life, our patterns, who we are? And I just wanted other people to have that. And I, for years and years and years, never even had an offer. You know, the first time I had an offer was when a couple years ago, I became really good friends with the late, great, beautiful Rachel Luna, who was one of my dearest friends. And she was like, girl, listen, if you're not offering something, you're not serving the world. You're not serving the world, and you're not bringing them in. And so yeah, you can come to Align and you can hear about what I have to offer, but you will not hear about it for very long, because I keep this event an event where you can come in and you can have transformation, and you can learn from many different minds that I feel have something really beautiful and special to share. I curate the speakers for the experience, not for some kind of strategy of like, like this person is going to lead into this and is going to, do this. And so it's like the whole event is curated intentionally for your growth, for your transformation, to help you come into a space where you truly feel like you belong. And again, like I shared earlier in the podcast, I never felt like I belonged. And so you can be there and you could be dressed to the nines and be, totally elevated. And then you can see somebody that's got a sweatshirt and jeans on. And everybody is welcome in the space. But it is a space that when you leave and you come back the next year, because I've seen people, go through this journey, this progression, they always come back the next year up leveled. Right. So the girl in the sweatshirt and the jeans the next year, might be dressed a little bit nicer. And it's not about the clothes that you wear, but to me, it's about how you see yourself.
Yeah.
And many years ago, before I had this transformation, this metamorphosis, like I didn't take care of myself in that way. I would never put any lip gloss on or put earrings on or anything like that. And when I started doing that, it was just to me a sign of self-respect and a sign of self-care. And so, when you come into this room, you come as you are, you're met with love, you're embraced by everyone there. It's a collaborative room, not a competitive room. You don't feel like there's little cliques of people, right? Everybody mingles and everybody connects, and it's not like a what can you do for me room. It's like a who are you? Tell me about you. What are your dreams? And that's the energy that you feel from the entire room. And the heart of it is around alignment. And there's a lot of different ways that we could talk about alignment. There's energetic alignment, which we hear a lot about nowadays. But there's also this alignment that I was alluding to, where it's your physical, emotional, spiritual, relational, financial. I call it the alignment wheel, like those 5 areas. When you are suffering or struggling or stuck, there's probably one area on that wheel that is lacking the energy. It's not getting the attention. And if you're struggling in business and not able to make progress, perhaps it's something in the physical, or perhaps it's something in the spiritual, having a spiritual practice, whatever speaks to you, or perhaps there's that relationship that's off. And so you get into this space and it's like you wake up and you realize the fog you've been under. You realize the illusions, you realize what's out of alignment in your life energetically or within that alignment wheel. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Oh, that just needs Yes. Once you see it in that room, you can't unsee it. But we don't leave you there. We leave you activated and knowing what to do about it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, here's now what to do about it, because it really doesn't do you anything to wake up and see something. I think we have a lot of people that know the things that are off in their life, but they're not fully activated, meaning they don't really know, what should I do next? And I feel like everyone leaves this room knowing this is what I need to do next, whether it's this is what I need to do next in my business strategy, or this is what I need to do next for my personal self-care or in my relationship, or I need to start reverencing and respecting my money, or else why is more money going to be attracted to me? So you will personally have your own download. It's personalized to you because we all receive something different from the messages, but you're going to receive what you need in your life and perhaps also in your business as well.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think one of the biggest things that I saw in your space that you've curated with Align is, you know, exactly what you said. Like, everyone deserves a seat at the table. And I remember the feeling, and I know I've talked about this online before, and it kind of makes me a little emotional. But the feeling when I first walked into the room, because I had already met some of the women that were there. I had spoken to your VIPs online. And I remember when I opened the doors, and this was just like in the hallway, like I wasn't even in the room yet. I literally opened the doors and women were running towards me. I remember like looking to my right and my left, and I had never felt that way before. Like you're running towards me.
Yeah.
It was like, it really, the whole experience made me realize that I had to use my voice more. That I just not only deserved a seat at the table, that if I didn't sit at this table and speak or stand up and speak, then I was going to prevent those that were meant to hear the message from ever experiencing the message. And
Yeah.
I remember how nervous I initially was, because you had me speak on the stage on the panel. I think it was the founders panel.
Yes. Yeah.
And, you know, and I got on stage and I had been sick, so I sounded like I had smoked 2 packs of cigarettes. I was like, my voice.
Jessica.
But I remember the feeling of being on your stage. It was like no other. And I will always remember that feeling, that power. Like, it's indescribable.
Yeah.
And I remember that was where I not only found my voice, I like aligned with my voice.
Yeah.
And I think, and I've talked to so many women that have been in that space, and the feedback that I've gotten is the same that I experience with like feeling so included in that space. But it's like, you know, I do believe transformations can happen in a couple days, and it's radical change, you taking them through an experience. But once you realize that you deserve a seat at the table, you can't look outside yourself anymore and say, there's no opportunity for me.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yes. Yes. And I believe that it's born from the fact that I actually did not have confidence growing up.
Yeah.
I did not feel like I belonged. And when I started my first business, I did not look on the outside like someone who would be able to make 7 or multiple 7 figures. I didn't fit the mold. And I had all these kids. Like, what woman has no audience? And so it's like, I really want to be the living embodiment. And I think that that's what people see is they're like, okay, she really started from nothing, and she didn't believe in herself, and she didn't have confidence. And so I wanted to create a space where anyone, even if they're 100 pounds overweight, or they're 60 years old, or they come from an abusive relationship, or wherever they come from, it's like, I see you. I don't care about your past. I don't care about the things you think disqualify you or what you think is a disadvantage. I think your disadvantage is your advantage. And this is like a room where you get to come and feel like you belong, because I really do believe that there's so much potential inside of anyone. I could look at anyone and they may not look like they fit the mold, but I know if that person gets turned on and activated and awakens, anything is possible. And so I want everyone in that room to believe, like, it doesn't matter where you are right now.
Yeah.
We're going to wake you up and we're going to shift things around and you're going to have this like soul transformation and you're going to leave changed. And what you do with that, of course, is up to you. But what I see happen with the women that come back year after year is they do go on to do incredible things. They change their personal lives. They change their financial lives. They change and improve their relationships. And it's like, I just really, I believe in the human potential. And I have such a heart for, anyone on their journey, like, sorry, anyone on their journey, like, hey, you don't have to stay there. There's another level for you. There's another level for you if you're making 7 figures, if you're making multiple 7 figures. And maybe that level for you isn't getting to 8 figures. Maybe that level for you is actually relishing in the 7 figures and having joy in the 7 figures and like being present in the luxury of your life and how incredible it is. It's not always going to the next level financially. To me, it's going to the next level of what is that good, beautiful, incredible life that you've always wanted to live. And sometimes it's something different than money. So I can't tell you you're going to walk out of this room and get your 7-figure strategy. Some of you are. Some of you are going to walk out of this room being like, holy crap, I've built the thing. Now I need to actually live.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yes to all of it. Yes to all of it. So, Brooke, what I love so much also about how you lead women, how you lead people is that you are continuously reinventing and expanding yourself. And so can you talk a little bit about what is going to be different this year with Align? Because you name it something different each year, and this year is Awaken.
Yes.
So what are you working on, and what is this next level for you that you're kind of going to be taking us on a journey with as well?
Oh gosh. I mean, the next level, you're right. I am always investing in myself and in my growth. I feel like if you're not growing, you're dying, right? If you're not, you can be a leader, but you're really not leading unless you're learning. And so continuing to learn, I think, continues to qualify me. And I believe that we have to be qualified every day, right? And every year. I don't rest on my laurels, right? And so that I invested this year multiple 6 figures, my husband and I, just in our growth. And for us, alignment this year meant he and I really working on strengthening the container and really strengthening our family and like getting that framework like so powerful and strong and unstoppable that in 2026, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen, right? Because for me, there is personally in my business is going to be a lot of expansion and growth and writing a book. I've finally settled on who I'm going to write a book with and all of those things. And I want to do these things not only for me, but I want to do them because I want to help other people come along and do these same things. And so the word awaken came to me very easily this year. And it was several months ago. And sometimes it doesn't drop in until about this time of the year. The revolution, which is what the theme was last year, dropped in right around this time. But awaken felt so natural and so perfect because I feel like the thing that happens to us is we get under a spell, we get under an illusion, we are going through life in a fog. And it doesn't have to mean our life is bad. We might have a good life. We might be making a good amount of money. We might, things might be pretty copacetic. But I feel like there's another level to awakening that needs to be opened up in you. And I feel like the world right now needs more incredible women and incredible couples that are doing amazing work. And that's going to take some waking up to the stories you've been telling yourself, waking up to the things that you've been believing, waking up to any false illusions or limitations that you may not have realized are there. We're going to unearth those things so that you can see clearly what exactly is holding you back from that 6, multiple 6, 7, multiple 7 figures. Like, what is it that's holding you back? So that part of you is going to be awakened. But also, I believe that there's something else in there for every single person that's listening that you've wanted to do. And maybe you forgot, but there were things when you were little that you lost track time of doing. There were things that you were little that maybe could hint to what you wanted to do when you grew up. Or maybe you've had these dreams or ideas, you've suppressed them, you've pushed them down. You've thought, I'm not special enough. I'm too old. I'm too young. It's too late. I'm too whatever you would put in there. And those dreams that are divine, that are desires, desire meaning of the Father, they're divine. Those dreams are also going to be awakened, right? And so it's about awakening the illusions, the falsehoods, but also awakening the truth of who you are, the truth of what you want to create, and awakening also the realization that it's not as hard as you think it is. And I think this is my other superpower with people is like, I think about, people like Aniston. When I first, met her at the beginning of the year, she thought it would be really cool to do one of the things on her list. She's done everything on her list because I just take so much joy out of taking away the mystery. So you look at all these important people online, all these special people that are successful, and you think, oh my gosh, that would be so hard. And what if we replaced hard with, it's not hard, but it's new, it's challenging, it's stretching, it's uncomfortable. Like you'll almost never hear me say hard. I'll put a different word in there. Like this is a challenge. This is stretching me, right? But it's not hard. And so you'll also leave realizing that whatever you desire is closer than you think it is. And here's how to get started. And so this realization and awakening of, I can actually do it. It's not impossible. And I put so many women and men as well on the stage because men are welcome in this room. I put so many people on the stage that are living and breathing examples of people that have created massive success. And some of them have done it really quickly. I think about Amy Lacey. She built an 8-figure business in 18 months. Guys. So you're going to be fully awakened and activated and on this high that's going to last. And it's just going to propel you into the year.
Yeah. Well, so this is just so beautiful. And one of the things that I also think is really cool about this year is that we're talking more and more about bringing couples into this room and bringing men into this room. And I know this year, Kauai, when you did the mastermind collab, some men, I think there were only 4 men, but it was like this introduction to bringing couples into this space. And I think it's so powerful. Like I was talking to my husband, Ken, and Ken is coming this year.
I love him.
We all love Ken. He loved Kauai, and he was like, I just want to be in more spaces that Brooke Hemingway curates. He was like, because last year he said, if you would have asked me last year to go to Align with you, I would have said, that's a definite no. I don't want to be in one of those spaces. It's like weird in there. He's like, people are walking around in the woods and they're like, I'm practicing gratitude and manifesting abundance. Like he was making fun of it. And this year he's like, I'm coming in. I can't wait. And so
I tell you this, I love men. And again, it probably goes back to seeing my father suffer. And now I recognize it. He was in a tunnel. And I have so much appreciation for men and the masculine energy. And I think that when couples grow together, as opposed to what I see so often is the woman is growing, she's listening to podcasts, she's going to conferences, and then she outgrows her man or whatever that is, but I feel like when men are also invited and welcome, wow, the transformation it can do for couples. I've had several couples that have come into the room where this has been a part of transforming and saving their marriage or taking their marriage to that next level of intimacy and connection. And when I say intimacy, I don't just mean sexual intimacy. I mean emotional intimacy, shared interest intimacy, spiritual intimacy, intellectual intimacy, and yes, physical intimacy. But I just feel like men are starved.
Yeah.
And they actually want to be invited into this experience. They want to see what their women are learning. And so it is this room where it's just a universal room. Anyone will love this room and will grow from this room. Is it mostly women? Yes. But any man that does comes back. They come back. They're like, I'm definitely coming. And so we did curate a special couples experience. It's a part of the VIP experience. I call it the Love Lounge. And I have 4 couples that have different stories. One of the couples, they both been divorced. The wife had been in a very abusive relationship. They found each other, and now they coach on masculine and feminine energy and healthy relationships. And she created something called the Queen Collective, and helping women to really allow, like, 'cause she was a super high performer, 7-figure earner, operating in her masculine, in her burnout. And she realized that she could get back into her feminine. And so, we've got them. We've got David and Angie, who Angie got pregnant when she was a teenager. They both have infidelity, and they have this beautiful, incredible relationship now. And then we've got Aniston and Rudy, who I think have like the perfect marriage. I'm not sure like that they've ever fought. And then you've got Thomas and I with like 6 kids and major traumatic things that have happened for our children and major medical diagnoses. And so you kind of getting this like really cool gamut of experience and wisdom from couples. So if this speaks to you, I promise you, this is not a boss babe femme fest. We're women. We don't need men. I love men. I love them. I love healthy relationships. And I know that the world is craving healthy powerhouse couples, stepping up, stepping forward, building together. And that's why I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah, I feel it. And this year I'm so excited because there are many women from my mastermind, and they're, some of them are bringing their husbands, and I'm so excited. I'm so happy that you came in today, Brooke, and just shared your story and your inspiration and your passion. And I know there's so many people listening that are like, I have never heard of this Align thing, and I'm coming. I'm here for it. And so thank you for all that you have done for me and the potential that you've seen in me and your just pure love. And I really appreciate you so much.
I love you. Thank you so much for having me. It's just always an honor. Jessica, I think you and I connected because our souls were like so like-minded. And I always say this about you, like you are so genuine and so generous. And when you align with something, you really align with something. And that's how I am. And so it's just been such a gift to be in your world. And I can't believe we haven't even known each other a year and a half.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. And so for all of you that are listening, I want to make sure that you take a look in the show notes. We're going to make sure that that we have all the information for VIP and general admission tickets, and also all of your social handles, Brooke, because I know people are going to want to get into your world. So
thank you so much. I loved being here.
Thank you.